dogging and they're not. You're just not getting the play from people that you should be getting. I mean, that being said, Conley has been incredible this series. And
I learned something new about him. I did not know that he's never had a technical.
That's interesting. I did not know that either.
He's never been called for a technical foul.
The guy's pretty controlled. He should talk to DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, DeMarcus Cousins gets a lot of texts that he shouldn't, and they get received.
Yeah, but I mean, he also gets a lot of texts he totally deserves.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Like Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, that's actually kind of surprising that Conley's never gotten a technical. No, but Conley's been a great player. I mean, Conley is at least improving to the people in Memphis, in my opinion, that he was worth the money you paid him. Because he is the reason that the Grizzlies are in this series right now.
Pau Gasol. Or Marc Gasol.
Yes, that helps. That helps too. And although I find it weird that San Antonio is like going out of their way to make sure that the Gasol brothers are not matched against each other.
Well, I mean, one's a starter, the other's not.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still mess with your brother's head.
Pau is older, less physical. The one thing that really gets me is the name. Pau Gasol is how you say his name. Mm-hmm. If you ask Mark, it's Marc Gasol. Why does one brother say it one way and the other say it another?
I couldn't even begin to guess. That's a good question now that I think about it. I have no idea. But I mean, going back to the series, I'm just surprised. It seems like there should be way more talent on the San Antonio side of things. I don't know why this has been such a struggle for Pop's team. I mean, I can understand the struggles, whether or not you're not sure which Tony Parker you're going to get. Manu Ginobili has been almost absent. I mean, they can be excusable, but I mean, you'd think that Kawhi and Aldridge would be able to...
David Lee.
Yeah.
Danny Green.
Yeah, the talent's there. Like, the problem is, it just seems like the team is okay with letting it just ride on Kawhi and be like, oh, well, you can do it. You can get us through this.
Well, I mean, a lot of the players on the team are a bit older. I mean, let's go through David Lee.
Well, Lee, Gasol, Parker.
LaMarcus Aldridge, he's older. Tony Parker's older. Danny Green's not really that young anymore. Pau Gasol, Patty Mills, Manu Ginobili.
Hey,
that's
Paul
an old
Gasol,
team.
According to, if you run the simulation for NBA 2K17, we'll be paying for another 36 years or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so
2047 is when
that man is never going to retire. He's going to die on the basketball court, apparently. According to 2K17.
Yeah, which is crazy. I have no idea why this has been so intriguing of a matchup. I have no idea why San Antonio now has decided to let the 7 seed make it a game. The only thing that I can think of is, as spread out as the East is, that's how close the West is.
And I can get that. I can understand that to a certain extent. The talent, like we were saying in this whole episode, the talent is vastly different East to West.
It's like the SEC football versus Big Ten. SEC, you have Alabama and everyone else. The Big Ten, you had 6 teams who had legitimate chances to make the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, and that's a fair comparison, because the talent in the West. I mean, if you took Memphis out of the West and put them into the East,
they're the 2 seed.
They're the 2 seed. So
maybe the 3 with...
They're in the top 4. There's no argument there. They're in the top 4, and they are a legitimate threat to dethrone the Cavs, or could be. But in this scenario, I don't know. Maybe I still think the Spurs are going to take this, and I think they're going to probably take the next 2 games, because I can't imagine that Pop is going to stand for this for much longer.
They would be the 5 seed just based on record, but
if they were playing an Eastern record.
Yeah. So I'd say probably give them another 7 games, which would make them 50 wins. So that would put them in the 4.
Yeah, okay.
Ahead of Washington.
And still, I mean, like I said, I also think that we're going to see the Spurs team get it together, click a little bit more. I think they take it in the next two. I just don't. Unless Conley can single-handedly win this series by himself.
I mean, he wouldn't
Gasol,
have to. Randolph.
Yeah, I mean, well, Randolph is a great defensive player, but you're not counting on Randolph for buckets.
I mean, he's one of those players like Dwight Howard. Even though you're not sure what Dwight Howard you're going to get, you still have to plan for the best Dwight Howard.
Right, and that could also be a reason for why we haven't seen so much of Aldridge in the series, because Randolph is a good defensive player, and especially a good defensive big man player, and Aldridge is a good scorer, but better defense can stop good offense. So there it could be that reason, but they need to be able to latch it down.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think you said you think the Spurs are going to win. I think the Spurs are going to win. So we've agreed on every single pick.
So far, yes.
Who do you think is going to be in the NBA Finals?
Well, why don't we do this real quick? We won't give explanations. Who do you think's the Eastern Conference Finals?
Who do I think is the Eastern Conference Finals? Oh, that's going to be tough. I don't know the matchups, how it's going to break down.
Well, yeah, that's tough for us to say. But given that Cleveland's advanced and given the array of the other teams, what would you think?
Cleveland Wizards. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, it's hard for me to figure that out.
Without
because
having
obviously, I mean, things change too. Actually, I might be able to bring up a bracket. Okay, so who do you think comes out of the East then?
The Wizards.
You think the Wizards come out of the East?
I think the Wizards will come out of the East.
All right,
I think the Wizards will outshoot the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That is an interesting statement. I'm gonna have to say the Cavaliers. I don't want to, but I can't say that they're not gonna come out of it. I just think that I can't. As much as I don't necessarily care for him, and I'm not a huge fan, I can't necessarily go against LeBron just because of his track record. I mean, how many finals has he made it to? The last 7?
Right.
I mean, it's hard for me to say that he's not going to make it again.
And that wouldn't be the finals anyways, because the Wizards would probably be the lowest seed remaining, right?
And furthermore, no, the Wizards can make it, because the Wizards will play the winner of Boston, Chicago.
Right, because the Cavaliers aren't the number 1 seed.
I do agree with you that if I was a betting man, I would say Washington against Cleveland, though. I think Washington has the talent. I think Boston and Chicago are too similar, and I don't think they match up all that well against all the power that Washington has.
I just don't think anyone can outshoot Washington. The key for me is going to be how can Washington's defense handle LeBron's physicality. That's what it comes down to for me. And I think that the Wizards can outshoot the Cavaliers to the finals.
Okay, now West.
Oh, this one's probably the easiest. It's going to be the Warriors and the Spurs.
I'm going to differ with you there. I think it's going to be the Warriors against the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. I still think the Warriors take it, especially if Durant gets back and is in their groove. I just think that firepower's too much.
And here's where we differ again. I got the Spurs going to the finals.
You have Spurs Wizards.
I have Spurs Wizards.
Interesting.
Who do you have winning?
I have Golden State winning.
I have the Spurs.
Okay.
I have the Spurs over the Wizards.
All right. I could see the Spurs doing it, although the Spurs give me a little bit of cause for pause right now because, I don't know, maybe it's just the matchup with the Grizzlies that they don't fare too well, but they've got to figure it out.
And then Kawhi wins Finals MVP.
I wouldn't mind that in the least bit.
And Defensive Player of the Year.
He should definitely get Defensive Player of the Year. If he doesn't get Defensive Player of the Year, somebody's not paying attention.
Right.
So I agree with you on that as far as Defensive Player of the Year. And it should be interesting to see how it breaks down, though, considering... Did Dan tell you any of his predictions?
No, he didn't. I forgot to get him.
We're going to have to ask him next week, because I'm curious as to what he's got to say.
Yeah, I should have asked him. My bad.
That's all right. We'll make sure. I'll make it a point to ask him next week.
Yeah. All right. So, got anything more you want to say about the matchups?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all. I think we're good there, unless you got a nice fun fact about sports history.
Oh, I sure do.
Nice.
In fact, I got multiple. So let's just get right into that. This week in sports history, April 23rd is a great day for baseball history. On April 23rd, 1939, the great Ted Williams hit his first home run.
Nice.
On April 23rd, 1954, Hammer and Hank Aaron hit his first home run.
Oh, really?
Yes. And on April 23rd, 1962, after an 0-9 start, the New York Mets got their first win as a franchise, beating the Pirates 9-1.
That's pretty crazy to think about that. After an 0-9 start, the Mets got their first win on the 23rd?
On the 23rd of 1962.
If you want to be a struggling franchise, wait until win on April 23rd. Or if you want to be an NBA or MLB Hall of Famer, you better hit a home run then.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Nah, call that back.
No,
I'll take a double.
I don't want that.
I want the double.
I'll wait.
Can we wait until it goes after midnight? But yeah, so great baseball fact. April 23rd appears to be a great baseball day. So that is going to do it for us. It was a lot of fun, but all things must come to an end. Tony?
That's true. It was, unfortunately, we missed Dan, but I think we had a great time going over these playoffs as well as other scenarios that will be interesting come the off season. See how they shake out.
Oh, certainly will be a lot to look forward to. Remember, everyone, to check us out on Facebook, Dan Tony Sports, on Twitter @DanDanTony. Check out our blog, dandantonysports.blogspot.com. If you want to listen to us on iTunes, you certainly can. Just look up Dan Tony Sports. It's 2 words. Dan Tony is 1 word. Sports is another. Click the little subscribe button, and you'll automatically have our episodes downloaded to your phone, your tablet, whatever else it is that you are listening on. All right. Well, for Dan Tony Sports, have a great night.